It's Beaver Cool-Aid.
Beaver Cool-Aid.
John Lyle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew Bennett.
Beaver Cool-Aid.
Three dudes talking about whatever the hell they want. It's narcissistic.
Check it out.
Remember, there's nothing wrong with being self-absorbed. It's Beaver Cool-Aid with Lyle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew.
I heal fast. Aloe vera. So, it's the only living plant in my house. Well, that's the only plant, period, is the aloe vera.
You got any plants growing in your house there, Drew?
Yeah, we just bought some plants.
Uh-oh. Well, they'll only be around for a little while because when baby Ben gets mobile, you'll have to put your plants up on a higher shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
How does Ben like using a hydro light for a night light at night, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to tell you this.
It's a nursery, all right.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say this, but we moved into not the house that we're living in, but we moved into a house, and our landlord disclosed to us that when we did move in, we were the tenants right after the guy who was growing pot in it.
Oh God.
And so we had a gas issue, and I had to get the gas company out, and the woman comes in and she says, yeah, the last time I was here, I had to crawl up into the attic, and there were all these little plants up there. Some of them were living, some of them were dead. And I said, are there still any up there?
Yeah, your ass has been up there crawling around trying to see if there's any little nook and cranny that he forgot about.
If you can separate something from the fiberglass insulation or whatever, get after it.
Smoke a little fiberglass. So, well, I've been seeing a lot of write-ups about Fiesta. It seems like there's a lot of people attending this year. The weather's good. It's not crazy hot. So,
maybe you think it's not crazy hot, but I was cruising downtown yesterday. It was 98.
Oof. Yeah, it was 100 and some degrees in the hill country yesterday.
Yeah, but I must say, just to begin with, that hello to everyone I've been seeing at Fiesta. So I've been, because, I've been kind of hermit-like, and so I've been seeing a lot of former listeners and telling them about Beaver Cool-Aid. So.
What are they saying to you? They're glad you're back, doing something now?
Sure.
Well, good.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and sharing all sorts of memories over the past, 4 decades. So, yeah, that's been good. So it just makes me feel fat, that's all.
Your listeners are still living. That's a good thing,
Well, you have, people that are in their early 40s, they, when I first started working, they'd be in 9th grade.
Wow.
When I first started working in San Antonio. So, and I always say that was 60 pounds ago. 60 pounds ago.
And they're probably grandparents now too, right?
Yeah, I'm ripping off Kelly Kendall on that, but that's how I mark time by weight.
It's like your annual ring of a tree, man. It's
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, you're gonna have to chop through a lot of orange and yellow goo to find my growth rings. So I'm just saying. I just saying. But yeah, hello to everyone who I've crossed paths with at Fiesta. And thank you so much for buying the unemployed man a beer or two.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, too.
Drew and I were kind of talking about this idea of instead of buying us a beer, buy us a virtual beer and donate to Beaver Cool-Aid. We could use that virtual beer that you always want to buy us. Since you can't, how about a virtual beer?
Yeah, okay, I'll have a virtual tip jar. Because, see, I don't understand this thing now when you go to a food booth and they have tip jars. Mm-hmm. And it used to not be that way. We all know that. But now it's every food booth, it seems like they have a tip jar. Is there a tip jar at McDonald's? I'm paying an inflated price for the food product. What's the tip part? I mean, if you'd allow me to enter the booth, I'd be more than happy to assemble my food. And also throw my money in the box, make change, do whatever I had to do. But you're assembling the food, you give it to me. I don't understand the idea of the tip jar. Now, I understand that I guess you throw a tip jar anywhere, and if somebody's stupid enough or they got some change, they throw it in there. Fine. But mine's a matter of principle. I don't understand the service I'm getting there.
Well, how about
I'll tell you. Let me tell you what the deal is. When you buy something out of one, because it is expensive. when you buy one of those, some trailer food or some vendor food at a fair or something like that, you're buying the cost that it takes to make it. And then anything on top of that is, supposed to be about 30 to 35. Restaurants try to stay within a 30%, margin of profit versus cost, right? That's how you're going to stay alive. And then anything beyond that. So that's all included just in the price of the burger, right? And so when you bought that, what you're doing is giving 30% profit or a little bit more sometimes to the restaurateur or the guy that owns the place, and you're paying for the cost and the preparation of food. And then the tip jar is just for the guy who's got to slave away on the stove and serve it to you.
Yeah. Well, how about, when you go to a Fiesta event and all they're doing is cracking open your beer and there's a tip jar there? I mean, is it customary to drop $1 or 50 cents in there just for cracking a beer? I mean, do you do that, Lyle? I mean, I typically will. If something's $2.50.
Because I'd be more than happy to open my own beer.
Right.
There's a difference between that, I think, and tipping a bartender, because the bartender is serving me. The bartender is observing whether or not I need another drink.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some banter there. I feel like I'm really being served.
Right.
Like I said, there's no tip jar at Chick-fil-A. There's no tip jar at McDonald's. There's no tip jar. Do you have a tip jar at your on your food trailer there? Your food?
Yeah, we've got one.
Okay, I figured that's the reason why you were defending it.
Why not?
But I know what you're saying. I mean, I know what you're saying. Why would you go? But I always wonder about Sonic. When you go to Sonic, do you tip the girl for skating out with your food? Do you do that? Is Sonic different from Chick-fil-A because they deliver your food?
Yeah, because they're actually taking it to the car. I have brought this up on the show so many times, on the radio show, when I had one. And no one definitively could ever tell me whether or not, you tip the person. So it's just kind of up to you. If somebody's leaving the building and coming over to the car, okay, I'll give them my change. But, or if you just want to really not even worry about it, just use the drive-through window.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing. Where's the tip jar at the drive-through window? I mean, it wasn't that long ago that you didn't see a tip jar everywhere. And then I think one person started it, and it just created this avalanche, and now there's a tip jar everywhere, no matter where you are. So that's what I want to do. I want to have an empty wine carafe here, and that's going to be I'm just going to put tips on it. And whenever we're on, if somebody wants to, give us their change or
go to PayPal, drop in $1 or $2.
Just go ahead and shove it in there. And then we'll have to, of course, divide it up virtually, too.
That's right. 33 cents for every buck you spend.
I'll stick 33 cents in your PayPal account. Don't you worry. Don't you? But, it wasn't that long ago. This is Fiesta, so, all the food you're getting is it's not foodie food. It's Fiesta food.
They're making it all day long. It's not specially prepared. It's grilled meat on a stick.
Yeah, so if I'm paying $5 for a beef fajita taco, believe me, I think I've covered the expense there, and I understand that. I know that you have to rent the booth, and it's not just about the cost of the food; it's everything else, and I understand that. So I don't mind spending the $5, but I ain't tipping.
But you know what? And part of that $5 does go to pay the employee. So, I think if you get good service wherever you are, and it's a service industry type of thing, if you get a good experience out of the deal, and you want a tip, then by all means. But like in Europe, they don't want you to tip. That's not even something that they even do. So
you can. It all depends on where you are. If you have outstanding service, you can tip maybe 10%.
Yeah, right.
A little bit, but otherwise it's all figured in, which is the way I like it anyhow. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. When you're in Europe, you see a lot more adult people, grown people, adult men, older men, and serving. I guess because they can actually make it work. Here, a lot of times I see older men serving, and I feel like, that's just because they can't find a better gig. But there, it's almost like it's a profession, and they're and it's a whole. It just feels different than it does here.
Yeah, for sure.
But now you've kind of made me feel guilty, so I'm going to run back down and shove a buck in the jar.
Just don't run into the guy who beat you up.
Here's this deal. I was at because I hate to stiff anybody. You know, I mean, I don't like that. If I'm being waited on by a bartender or a waiter or waitress, whatever, certainly they're going to get at least 20% from me. But this is so wild. I was at Ruth's Chris downtown, and I took the wrong slip. When they give you like about 18 different copies, and you got your copy, the store copy, this copy, and I took the wrong copy. I took the copy from that I was supposed to leave. That had tip indicated.
You bastard! I can't believe you did that.
Yeah. So I got home, and I'm emptying out my pockets, and I go, oh crap! I screwed Drew out of his tip. So I called out of the restaurant. I said, look, I took the wrong thing. I know the guy's going to think I'm a dick. This is how much I want to leave. Please charge my credit card this. And so I went through all that stuff. So I know a woman that also is a waitress down there, and I just saw her the other night in Old San Antonio. And I said, man, I felt so embarrassed that I stiffed this guy unintentionally, of course. And she goes, oh, he was pissed.
Oh.
Started talking about how cheap radio people are. Friend is, and how awful, and this and that. And I said, well, did he ever say anything to you when he finally got his tip?
Yeah, I bet he never got it.
No. See, that's how you maintain, your image as a jerk, as an asshole, everything else. That's how it happens. Because no one's there to tell the rest of the story.
Yeah, yeah.
And no one's going to believe yours anyway.
Yeah. They're
just going to see you walk through that door and go, there's that fucking John Lyle, that cheap bastard.
Don't wait on that guy. Yeah, he's a self-entitled bastard. Don't even touch that guy. Right, and that's just from the person that just started waiting on tables there because they used to work the food truck that sold Japanese pizza. And they know I'm not tipping. I you just can't win. It's just like, someone sees you hit the dog, but they don't see you grab the dog and take it to the vet and save its life.
It's Beaver Cool-Aid.
Beaver Cool-Aid.
I must say, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but Drew, congratulations, man. Jerry Jones moves up and a dynamite pick for the Dallas Cowboys last night.
Are you a Tigers fan?
No, I'm a Vikings fan.
But you're not an LSU fan?
Oh no, I'm not an LSU fan at all. No, I'm not a fan of the Southeastern Conference. But hey, man, I've seen the guy play enough, and hell of a player, and hell of a pickup. So that's very cool, very nice.
I can't believe how much money they've spent. They got the Brandon Carr kid from Kansas City, and they paid him a lot of money, and then they went and got this number one draft pick, this sixth pick. I was really surprised that they traded up, and their explanation was that he was the only guy that they would trade up for. They didn't think he was going to be there. But when he was, they decided they would trade up. I don't know, giving away the second round pick. The thing about it is that these first round picks, I always think of Ryan Leaf,
who has now been officially declared a fugitive from justice.
He's not kidding. I mean, the guy is. I actually talked to him in a bar one night in Amarillo, Texas, when he was coaching football at West Texas A&M. But I always think of guys like that. Because when he was drafted, he was second behind Peyton Manning.
Wow.
And so it was that kind of year, Robert Griffin III goes second, Andrew Luck is first, and then we move up to sixth to grab this kid. And we give away this second round pick. And so I think it makes me worried, you know, when we do those kinds of things, because you never know how these kids are going to end up, you know. Ryan Leaf is, you know, like a thief. He robs he robs apartments.
Yeah, so he can get oxycodone.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I think Morris Claiborne is, I see a lot of draft busts at quarterback, but Morris Claiborne, I think, is, ready to get in there and have it happen at corner. And Jerry Jones is excited.
I'll tell you what.
So that's always the problem is that you have to play for Jerry's team. But in fact, I quote here because I got my newspaper here. I will go. This is what Jerry said. I will go as far as to say this. He's the most consensus pick, whatever.
Wow.
As opposed to being the consensus pick, he's the most consensus pick. And this is the most consensus move I can ever remember on our draft day.
Wow, really? That's surprising. But I will say this. I heard the phone call that he made to that kid and just how gracious he was. And you could tell his family was around him. And, so my first impression was that it was a good decision. They knew a lot about him, and they went and got him because they knew what kind of player he was going to be. It's funny, though. I mean, they've got Mike Jenkins. They've got Orlando Scandrick. Those are two, decent corners that started for us last year. And then now they've got these other two. So it'll be interesting to see. I wonder if if it was the right decision,
I thought it was a great pick. I thought it was a great pick for Dallas.
I think so too. We'll see.
So, and that's hard for me to say.
It definitely is.
Well, I know. I thought, wow. Coming from a guy who doesn't really like the Cowboys.
I know, man. They might actually win the Super Bowl this year now that we got Lyle on the team,
What's that?
I'd say they might actually get into the playoffs since we got Lyle on the team this year.
No.
No?
The problem is that I've seen the Cowboys play more than any other team.
Well, that's true. You've probably been to more games for sure.
And just because of the radio show, I'd have to watch the Cowboys games all the time.
And you still aren't converted. I just can't believe. I mean, living in San Antonio, you might as well be living in Dallas when it comes to the Cowboys because that's
true.
That's Cowboys South. I mean, that's the most rabid fans I've ever seen for a team that wasn't in the same city as San Antonio for the Cowboys.
You're right, boy. That is South Dallas, right? When it comes to the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. It just feels weird cheering for another city's team.
Yeah.
It's Beaver Cool-Aid. Beaver Cool-Aid.
Are you a Vikings fan or are you a Red McCombs fan?
No, well, Red hasn't owned the team in a long time, but since the 60s. And when Bud Grant was the coach, and they play at the old Metropolitan Stadium, and they did sit over there and freeze on the sidelines. That was He-Man football.
Who lives in I've been to Minneapolis. Who lives there? You know what they have there, Lloyd? Have you ever been there?
All my in-laws live there. All my wife's families. That's where she's from, Minnesota.
They have skywalks, from building to building because it gets so cold that you shouldn't stand outside. That's how cold it gets in Minnesota. I don't understand how you live in cold like that.
It's brutal. And the funny thing about that, I went to a Twins game. I've never been to a Vikings game, but I did go to a Twins game there, and I'd never thought in a million years I'd see someone hit a pop fly that would bounce off the ceiling. First,
what an awful facility.
It is. It's terrible.
What an awful facility.
And when you walk through that door, you just get this vacuum that just kind of sucks you in there because it's all, risen there by the air. But, man, it's a weird, weird place to watch sports.
Yeah, it's like some kind of strange upside-down bouncy.
That's exactly what it is.
It is. It's really wild. And it's tough being a Vikings fan. But when I first – it was wild just for a little bit of time living here. Tommy Kramer, I know Tommy Kramer when he was quarterback for the Vikings, and he's from here, and then Red McCombs owning the Vikings, and I thought, how wild is this happening? How wild is this for me as a Vikings fan in South Texas when you have a former QB who I know and an owner who's from right here? That was extremely wild. Because I told Kramer, I said, you would smack me about the head if you ever heard all the things I used to yell at you when I watched you play on TV.
Were you so excited when McCombs took over it because you thought there might be the possibility he would bring him to Texas? I mean, was that ever a possibility when he first took him over? Because I don't remember that.
I don't think it was a possibility, but some people were worried about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was a possibility.
Are you one of those guys that if your team moves from Minnesota, you'll follow them? Like you're an ex-Oilers fan and now you're a Tennessee Titans fan. I don't get that. I don't understand.
I didn't do that. Because I was an Oilers fan, but when they moved, that was it. And once again, I hate Bud Adams, so it's. But when they moved, that was it. It was over. But when they were the Oilers, I was an Oilers fan. I used to have season tickets when I lived in Houston.
Wow.
But no, when they moved, that was it. Gone.
So you never. Why didn't you ever adapt the Texans though?
Huh?
Why didn't you ever adapt to the Texans? I mean, since you're a Houston guy, they were trying it again. Just had no desire to be a Texans fan.
I have been warming to the Texans the last 2 seasons, and I said last year at the start of the season, look out for Houston. They're coming on, and without those injuries at quarterback, who knows what would have happened, and Mario Williams going out, and in my mind, they're the force. So in this state,
so you don't see anyone in San Antonio switching allegiance though to go to the Texans as long as it's been since the Cowboys have been in the playoffs. Nobody in San Antonio is ever going to move. No,
if you're a Cowboys fan, you die a Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
I've never known anyone to say, except for Steve Hahn, to say I'm not a Cowboys fan anymore. No.
Yeah.
No, because Cowboys fan, it's a certain breed. You got to be delusional.
Especially this time of year.
Got to be extremely delusional. And because I don't care what kind of crap they've had on the field, Cowboys fans always feel they got a chance, at least before the season starts.
Oh yeah.
We do have a chance this year. We got a great chance.
See?
Are you kidding me? We got a real good chance.
Of what? 9-7? What do you feel?
I think we'll go 10-6. I think we'll either win the division or we'll come in second. I think we'll make the playoffs. I think we'll give it a good college try this year. I think our defense is going to be better. One of the things that has really stuck with the Cowboys is we haven't had a really good safety situation in a long time since Darren Woodson left. That was a while ago. And then really our corners were, not really competitive in my opinion. So if that's what they're going to change, and they're going to go with Rob Ryan's defense, which really requires good corners, then I think you'll see it, because our offense has been really good the last few years. It really has been. Everybody wants to shit on Tony Romo, but he's had some pretty amazing statistics in the last couple of years. So really, it was really the defense that was the weak link last season. I think they've addressed that. We'll see. I'm optimistic, but what do you know? I'm a Cowboys fan, right? I think we'll win.
See, you say optimistic. I say
delusional.
Delusional.
Yeah. So that's what everybody's talking about today because of the draft. I mean, everybody,
man, great pick.
Everybody's talking about Morris. Nobody's really talking about Andrew Luck. Everybody's talking about Robert Griffin. If you go on Google and you look at all the hot trending topics, it's nothing but NFL players, which really shows you, I think, the involvement of the fans and that it's really, I think, America's game. Don't you think? Football over baseball, really?
Oh, yeah. And even NBA playoffs about to happen, I mean, how many people are really talking about it? I mean, and now's the time you really should start getting serious about watching basketball, because I know you said something, Drew, about, you didn't care about watching NBA midseason, but come playoff time, but I really don't hear a lot of people getting excited except...
That's because you're in Austin.
I know. And believe me,
because if you were here, you'd be hearing people talking. Here in San Antonio, you'd hear people talking about
it's an abbreviated season, too. I mean, I think, hasn't been on top of mind with everybody because the first part of the season we lost,
Which I was thankful for. But, you only dropped 16 regular season games. So 66 games, still a hell of a lot of games.
Yeah.
And more games than they played in the 99 season, that shortened season. But the Spurs have had the same record as the Bulls, so which was tremendous. They finished 50-16. The Bulls, though, by virtue of whatever the hell it is, they're going to have home court advantage throughout. So the only way, if the Bulls go down, then we'll have home court advantage throughout. If
they won without their starters the other night.
Yeah, everybody's been resting their players. Hell, for the last 2 games, Popovich didn't even coach. Mike Budenholzer coached.
Thank God they got a deep bench this year, though. I mean, the Spurs look. I mean,
we are excited.
If anyone,
I'm the most excited I've ever been heading into the playoffs.
I mean, it's time to get that fifth one, you know.
And that makes me a little nervous.
Give you a ring for every finger.
Huh.
Even one for the thumb.
Okay. All right. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
But we're excited. We're excited. The city's going to be, the city's excited, I can tell. And so.
It's Beaver Cool-Aid.
Beaver Cool-Aid.
Well, let me ask you, Fiesta, now. What was the most popular player jersey that you saw being sported? Was it Ginobili? Was it Parker?
Ginobili.
Yeah, that's the way it always. I mean, it seems like he's always the player that gets the most or the loudest crowd response when he hits the floor and they announce his name. Is always Ginobili. I mean, he's the home city favorite, I would say. So,
yeah,
God bless Ginobili.
That's the number one jersey out there. You guys, do you guys wear jerseys? Do you wear sports gear?
Well, I got drunk at a Cowboys game one time and bought a Miles Austin jersey for about $100.
What?
Yeah. And it wasn't even because, here's how fucked up this is. It wasn't even because I'm a big fan of him. I just bought it because his last name was Austin.
I was going to say, it's just because it said Austin on the back.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason.
Right,
so,
right.
yeah, I do have one Dallas Cowboys jersey in my closet, and I will bring it out occasionally if the Minnesota in-laws are in town, just to piss them off. But
give them crap.
Yeah,
what about you, Drew? You got any sports gear with?
I tell you, I really do. I got to get, and I don't wear it. I should give it all away. I've got jerseys from the '90s that I don't wear anymore. Can't fit into some of them, but can't fit into most of them.
Well, when you get ripped, that's what happens, man.
Yeah.
You got to have your clothes tailor-made.
Yeah. So I've got I'm not crazy. I'm not one of those guys that wears like the Reebok sneakers and the jeans and the jersey and the hat and with the keychain and the bumper sticker. I'm not one of those guys.
How about that short-lived time you were in Kansas? I mean, did you become a fan of all the sports? I mean, it's a pretty well-known sports city. You know
what I liked about Kansas City? That's a beautiful park. Where the Royals play, Kauffman Stadium, and so I've been to a couple of their games, but I'm much more of a Red Sox fan if I'm into baseball at all. But going to Arrowhead Stadium, boy, they care about their Chiefs. I mean, they suck year to year, but God bless them, those people love that team, and it's loud as hell there. And so to go there and just to see a football game, that kind of you kind of got the vibe of it's a big high school game. Everybody's there supporting the team. It's it's that kind of a vibe. So with somebody from Texas, that's a good thing. Because you go down there and you just like the fact that you're watching football. But I didn't get into the Chiefs. I always I only got tickets when the Cowboys were playing them.
Well, back before you were born. The first time the Vikings won the Super Bowl, of course, they were favored, and they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. Len Dawson at quarterback, Joe Kapp at quarterback for the Vikings.
Len Dawson ended up being a sportscaster in Kansas City. Pretty successful broadcaster.
I wish he'd die. I haven't gotten over it. Why don't you just die, Len Dawson? But it's really great. I don't know if you've ever been there, Lloyd, because Arrowhead is right next to where the Royals play baseball, and they got a fountain in the outfield. And so at least the last time I was there, which was a long time ago, they had a fountain in the outfield. But it's a really nice place. It's one of these places that's really nice that a lot of people don't know about.
I'm kind of surprised you weren't a Braves. I'm kind of surprised you weren't a Braves fan. Because you love the Vikings so much. It just seems to me, baseball-wise, since you like to pull for teams that go all the way and never close the deal, you should have been a Braves fan as well.
Well, you see, I'm a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, I know.
So there's another one.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm a Cardinals fan, when you grow up like where we did there in North Carolina with no teams in the state, you just had to pick.
Yeah.
So most of the adults I knew were Redskins fans. So I'm not going to pull for the Redskins because I wanted to be different.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'd see these guys as a kid. I'd see these guys on TV, in black and white playing He-Man ball. And it's like, okay, I like that. You see the steam coming out the nostrils and everything. That was football to me. And then on baseball, the only reason I'm a Cardinals fan is because it was back when Bob Gibson was pitching for the Cardinals. And in elementary school, We'd go down to the auditorium. Teacher would wheel out a black and white on an AV cart. We watched the series.
Wow.
So we'd watch, the Cards and the Tigers play, and I liked Bob Gibson. I liked Lou Brock. I liked these guys. So I became a Cardinals fan in the '60s, and I've been the same ever since. Nowadays, see, you couldn't show a baseball game at an elementary school.
No, not at all.
That was great. It's like the school is like learning about a lot of different things instead of crap so you could pass the STAR test. But I don't want to get off on this. I was just asking about stuff because I just have a rule. I don't wear any kind of clothing with a man's name on my back. And so I don't, if I get a jersey or something, it's not a player's jersey. It's just a blank kind of, shirt because I don't want a man's name on my back.
Well,
so
you can order.
You can get your. I think you can get your own. You can go to
You could get one that says Beaver on the back or something. Get you a Beaver Cool-Aid.
Filing into, and because you have to say, okay, which man do I really love enough that I wear a shirt with his name on it?
Yeah, I've never understood tattooing. People say, hey, are you ever going to get a Kiss tattoo? Are you ever going to get Gene Simmons tattoo? I don't want to get anybody's face tattooed on my body, some other dude. Yeah,
it's a dude's face on your body.
Man.
It doesn't seem real heterosexual to me. And so I'm not really there. I mean, if the lingerie league hadn't folded, I might get a chick's name on my back.
Yeah.
So that, might have been something. And probably a nice little teddy. It'd be something, your gear would be, some kind of lingerie. And you'd have a player's name on your back. But it's so funny when you go into a game, you see all these people waddling into the stadium, and they do waddle. And you see all these different people with their Romo jerseys or whoever it may be, and it's an odd kind of collection. And usually I'm in an altered state of mind, so I find it extremely entertaining seeing everybody filing in with these men with the guys' names on their bags.
You know what drives me more crazy than that is women who wear fucking pink Spurs jerseys, man. I mean, I'm sorry, dude. I know they're trying to be cute and all. But I don't need to see a pink Spurs jersey. I
don't understand the camouflage jerseys either.
Yeah.
And the all black ones. I don't get those. I don't get the variations. Can we just stick with the team colors here?
Well, it's hunting season. If it's deer season, I'm giving up, hitting the blind to go to the game. So I got to at least have some camo on. But yeah, for the chicks, pink anything. There's a lot of these pink jerseys everywhere.
Yeah,
let's feminize the gear so we can sell even more. Those aren't the team colors. That's not the purpose. You're supposed to wear the jersey if that's what you want to do.
How about the hats with the sparkly Spurs shit on it? I don't like that either. I mean,
you're not a fan of the sparkly look.
I don't like the bling on the team apparel.
You don't have a bedazzler?
I don't, but
doesn't everyone have one?
Drew, you think of what I am? Come birthday in August, I'm thinking a little regifting is in order.
Hey, I'm thinking there's a denim jacket in your future, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it'll say Austin. It'll have the Frost Bank building on the back.
In jewels.
Yeah.
It's Beaver Cool-Aid. Beaver Cool-Aid.
So, hey, this weekend, Johnny Depp and Tim Burton are going to blow one another once again on the movie screen, on the big screen.
Here's my take on it. Now that they've been showing a little bit more in-depth movie trailers, I think I actually want to go see it now. I think I do want to go see it at the theater. It looks kind of funny and campy. I think it's going to be good.
All right.
I mean, when he rips out the back of the TV when Karen Carpenter's singing, I mean, that's hilarious. That's just totally hilarious.
When I get done with the Three Stooges, I'll shift over to your auditorium and we can hold hands and watch Johnny Depp. And you gonna be wearing your Johnny Depp gear,
yeah.
They should just call it. They should just call it Ed Wood Scissorhands.
Depp,
because that's all it is. It's another. It's another mashup of all of his other movies.
Well, yeah, because Tim Burton's wife is in it as well, Helena Bonham Carter. She's in it.
God damn it! It's the same goddamn cast. Fuck you, Tim Burton.
He's going to be laughing all the way to the bank.
I don't know. I don't think that formula is going to work anymore.
The other
I think they're tired of it. I don't think it's an automatic.
I think you're right, man. I think people are tired of that.
Yeah. It's no Transformers 4.
You guys honestly don't think Dark Shadows is going to open #1 this week?
Let's put it this way. If Dark Shadows opens at #1, then it won't hold. It won't last. People are tired of that shtick. I think they really are. They're tired of it. Sorry, Lloyd.
No,
you have fun, man. And if you get bored, hey, come on down to Theater 16 and hang with the Stooges and myself, huh?
Now, I have to say the Three Stooges looks about as stupid as... I mean, why bring that back? You'll never recreate the classic comedy of the Three Stooges ever.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. Listen, the only people that are going to do the Stooges are the Stooges.
Maybe they could bring like 3 holograms back and they could poke each other in the eye virtually, you know?
I think he hit Larry on the head, didn't he? And not the nail? Or maybe he hit Curly on the head.
Hey, I really hope that if you know what, if you're gonna go watch it, at least I hope Shemp makes a cameo appearance. If he doesn't, then that movie is a complete waste of everyone's time.
Oh yeah. In fact, they should have just done one where it was only Shemp.
Yeah, right.
When I heard that they were first going to redo this movie, I mean, there were some pretty big names in there. I mean, like Sean Penn was scheduled to be one, and which I thought was really weird. And there was another big name, but they all kind of bailed on it, you know.
Yeah, they realized how stupid it is, and it should have never been made.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, who's your audience? The people that really know the Stooges are, you know, not young enough to find appeal in this and to go, and the people that are young enough to maybe find some appeal in it, they don't know the Three Stooges. So,
well, watching Sean Penn punch somebody in the face and poke him in the eye isn't too far of a stretch, is it?
That would be actually funny. I'd pay to see that.
Like a documentary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's more of a documentary of his life, isn't it?
Well, my kids asked me about the Three Stooges. They were like, well, what is this about? You know, because they've never seen the original ones. And I was like, you know, maybe I should just sit down with the kids and because they kind of like goofy ass humor like me. I mean, they'd get a kick out of that, but I don't know.
I think every kid needs to watch all the Marx Brothers films and all of the Three Stooges episodes.
Well, I have watched a couple of Marx Brothers movies with them, and they kind of like that. But Three Stooges, I don't know. My wife made it go, oh, it's too violent for the kids.
Well, yeah, I don't know if your daughters are going to like slapstick stuff.
They might. I don't know.
It's comedy from another era. I don't know if they're going to like it or not. My wife doesn't like Three Stooges stuff. Yeah. Every time we talk about it, we see the trailer on TV, and I go, how hideous does that look? And she just says, I never liked the Three Stooges. That had no appeal whatsoever to her. My son now, who's going to be 23 this summer, when he was really little, I thought I'd turn him on to, like all these movies I'd like.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, because when I was really little, like 4 years old, I was watching all these sci-fi films from the 50s and, monster movies and stuff.
Ed Wood.
And I traumatized him by throwing on the original The Fly.
Oh, my.
Yeah. With Vincent Price and David Hedison. And he was traumatized after watching that movie. So I felt like, okay, I took him a little far there at 4. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to The Fly.
That kind of affected my 7-year-old as well. We watched it on Halloween this past year. And, of course, that little that scene at the end where the human head's on the fly, it kind of bothered her, man.
Are we talking about the Vincent Price with your daughter, too, Lloyd?
Yeah.
Not the Jeff Goldblum?
No, not that one. We're talking Vincent Price.
Help me. Right. Beautiful film. And so it's like that with him. I think I traumatized him. So for years, he begged me to see Alien, and I wouldn't let him see it. I said, you were traumatized by The Fly, dude. You're gonna have problems with Alien. But I do that all the time, man. I would sit down with my 12-year-old and watch The Sopranos, probably. I'm like that. All depends on the maturity level. All depends on how they are. If you get into something, you get into something.
How about South Park? No way.
Maybe. I mean, my young daughter, she just she loved, that she loves The Simpsons. She's been watching The Simpsons since she was 2 years old.
How about Beavis and Butthead?
Well, would I let her? I don't think she liked Beavis and Butthead, but she loves The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And she used to love Family Guy until I kind of, put a stop to all that.
Yeah.
But she watches The Simpsons almost every night. She loves it.
Well, that's good.
She loves it, and I know that a lot of other people would find that appalling to have a 3-year-old watching The Simpsons. Her first movie was The Simpsons movie.
Wow.
So yeah, but I'm like that because you know what? As a reader, if you're a reader, you can Man, you get anything you want. So when people try to censor what their kids are watching on TV or movies or whatever, I can understand to a certain point. But all you got to do is go get a book.
I tell you, the movie I saw as a kid that it still affects me to this day was The Exorcist. My mom went. She's like, "Yeah, just going in," and I had no idea. I watched this movie by myself. I was about 13 or 14. Scared the living shit out of me. I mean, it really affected me. Still does to this day. One of the scariest movies I think's out there.
You know what's really good is Exorcist 3. It really is. Exorcist with George C. Scott and Brad Dourif as the psychotic killer. Have you guys seen Exorcist 3?
Haven't seen that.
It's just one of those things. It's one of those series, where it's like where you go, hey, you know what? No one's ever gonna go, hey, you know what? Friday the 13th Part 3 was really good. But The Exorcist 3 actually holds up, I think, to all of them.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm a little passionate about it.
I think I came on right after the Beastmaster or whatever.
The Omen.
Yeah. I saw, Omen 1, 2, 3, Omen 8. I don't know.
The Fun House.
Right.
The Omen, that's a good one too. The Omen was a good one.
Damien!
See, I don't know why The Exorcist I thought was somewhat funny. I didn't find it to be frightening.
Just, I don't know, man. It scared me. I think the religious overtone and the cross thing just, I don't know, kind of got to me there.
I mean, I told you guys on one of these shows, I remember back in the 60s, I was really young, and my mother had a garden club meeting or something, or bridge club or something. And so my dad throws us all in the car. We go to the drive-in, and we go see Psycho. And I know my youngest brother had to be only like a couple of years old.
Yeah.
And I was probably, 6 or 7. And, and we came back. We couldn't wait to tell our mother about, Psycho. That changed my life. I thought it was wonderful. But I had a steady diet of monster movies.
Yeah.
As a little kid, I just did. I mean, I watched all the,
I loved them. My kids hate horror flicks. They just won't watch them. I mean,
really?
I loved all the Universal
come on.
stuff.
They hate them. I mean,
man, that's too bad.
I try to do like a little Halloween thing. We did The Fly this past year, and Dracula, the original Dracula, Frankenstein. They hated it. They just didn't want to see that monster. Just completely freaked out. So they just don't like horror flicks at all.
Anthony Hopkins is going to play Alfred Hitchcock in a new movie, and it's about the making of Psycho. Have you guys seen that?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because when I first read that, I thought, please don't do another remake of Psycho. And then I saw, no, it's a film about the making of Psycho.
Have you seen the makeup? The makeup is pretty amazing. I mean, he looks just like Alfred Hitchcock. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's kind of disappointing when you have offspring that don't share your love for something.
I know, man. So we have to sit there and watch. They like goofy ass movies. They watch Dumb and Dumber and stupid shit like that. They enjoy that.
Right.
It's like,
but
Daddy's gonna play the shit scene again.
It's like my son who I traumatized with a fly.
You're like, hey, go into the bathroom. That's where the shit scene is.
God. That was good, man. Help me. That's just like my son, who's like the guy I just mentioned. He doesn't like sports.
Really?
So it's wild to have a son, and you can't, you don't go to games, you don't talk sports, he doesn't care about sports.
So you never dropped that scene from Field of Dreams where he goes out and throws catch with his dad, and it doesn't bring a little tear to your eye or anything when you and Sean are hanging out? Never bring that one out and try to relive that moment?
No. But we both like foreign film. He likes my taste in movies.
Yeah.
So we both like foreign films. No. Because,
did you guys not do the sports thing? Did he not come home and say, hey, I want to play sports when he was a kid?
Sometimes he did, but very early on, but he was very small at the time. So he would never make teams. The last time I think he went out tried out for the basketball team in 9th grade. And I let him go through the whole process when I knew he wouldn't stand a chance of making it. So it hurt to have to pay the money for the physical and go through all these different things that they make the kids do just to know he wasn't going to make the team. He didn't stand a chance in hell. But the only organized sport, he played soccer a little bit. And we'd always say he was out there looking like a leprechaun when he was playing soccer. But he just never got into sports. So that was that.
Wow.
It was a little bit of interest. I mean, I used to throw the football to him or try to teach him basketball stuff, but just didn't have passion for it. You know why? Because
No.
like most kids during that era, video games destroyed.
Oh, yeah. There you go. You're right. You're onto something.
You know.
Hey, so has Taylor expressed any interest? You know how I think around 13, 14 years old, the girls all bond over volleyball.
Yeah, she just started playing volleyball this season. She loves it. I mean, it's like, and she's never had any interest, kind of like what John said, no interest in any sports whatsoever. Soccer, tennis, anything. But this year she loves volleyball. So we do get out in the back and kind of pop the ball back and forth to each other. But that's the only time she's been interested in sports at all.
They've been talking about at the pro volleyball level getting rid of the women's shorts that they have to wear, or not allowing them to play in bikinis.
Wasn't that for beach volleyball at the Olympics?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It's the only reason I watched the Olympics last time.
Well, yeah.
Good
Yeah.
God.
I mean, come on.
Exactly. That's the only reason that you watch volleyball, in my opinion, is the shorts and the bikinis, right?
Well, yeah.
I have a pair.
Yeah, whose name is on the back?
You have a bikini?
Yeah, sure. You know, somebody's got to carry on the tradition now that Leslie's no longer with us, Drew.
Yeah.
Got to have a nice little thong with your sack hanging out the side.
God rest his soul. Yeah. God rest his sack.
My daughter played volleyball in middle school, and I remember going to the games, and one of the chicks on the team had her baby in the crowd with the adoptive parents. They bring out the kid to go watch her play volleyball, middle school volleyball.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why that came to mind. You mentioned girls playing volleyball, and I always remember that.
Were you ever single when you were going and taking your kids to, volleyball or anything?
Boy, now you're making me think, man.
Because I wonder what the dating scene is like with a preteen or a teen. I wonder if like there's a lot of half of us are divorced now anyway.
Yeah.
So I wonder if going to those sporting events is like a singles night for some parents.
Like a pickup place?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right there in the stands, Sunday morning, Saturday morning, there you are,
you're sitting there, you're watching your kid, maybe there's a mom or a dad, sitting down next to you. You get into a conversation. I would picture that there would be some sort of, social atmosphere like that.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't been around it long enough, so I can't give you an answer on that. But I can totally see that.
I figured you guys would have scoped that out by now.
Yeah, I would. It's kind of wild because I started thinking, if it didn't require getting up on the weekend, hell, I could screw it. If you have kids or don't have kids, just go out there on your own anyhow and just start yelling at somebody. Trevor, come on, buddy, get after it.
The great thing about sports as a kid is all the Shasta that you get to drink after the game. Did you ever do that? You guys ever do that? Got coolers. Coolers full of Shasta,
cookies, candy, any kind of all that good shit.
Not the cooler full of Capri Sun.
That's probably why I was a fat kid playing baseball.
Yeah, I was gonna say your fat friend always gets the cream soda that you wanted. You got to settle for the lime flavored
Shasta, some of the cheap soft drinks.
Yeah.
Shasta. That's Shasta, buddy.
That's better than Big Red.
That's the official. That should be the official drink of the
Beaver
professional soccer.
Big Red and Shasta.
I'll take it, man.
Mine was Gatorade. It was always Gatorade from the powder.
Gatorade. Oh, really? Wow.
Throw the powder into the big cooler thing and shake it all around, and then everybody had their little cups, and that's what you did, man.
From the powder.
From the powder.
That's old school, man.
Well, I know, and I'm an older dude.
Then you go to school and you recreate it as Purple Jesus, man, and then in college there, and that's a whole different world.
And you get pissed off at your friend's bitch mother for bringing Tang. The hell was she thinking?
The hell is that?
What is this? A
Hey,
space
man, I'm
shuttle?
so old. I remember salt tablets next to the water fountain at the Y.
That was
No lie.
salt tablets.
You got it. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to lead us to that dead end. But,
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Well,
That was the funniest way to run out of gas, though, man. If we were gonna do it, that was a good way of doing it.
take me home with the salt pill.
I will go to your party and I will tear it up.
Really? Beaver Cool-Aid
Make it like a man. Get it hard.
with Lyle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew. So go ahead, stick your head up your ass.